Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to crochet the cluster moss stitch. It's a simple textured stitch that only uses single crochets. I've used this stitch for this chunky throw blanket, and you can find the free written pattern linked below in the description bar. To begin, create a slip knot. Slide the loop over your hook and pull tight. I'm going to chain 15. For this stitch pattern, you want the foundation chain to have an odd number of chains. Once you have your desired number of chains, single crochet in the second chain from the hook. To single crochet, insert your hook into the chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. You should have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2. And then you're going to skip 1 chain and place 2 single crochets into the next chain. Repeat the pattern of skip 1 chain, place 2 single crochets into the next chain until you have 1 chain left. Single crochet in the last chain of the row. You should have 14 stitches in total. Turn your work. To start row 2, chain 1. Throughout this pattern, chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch. Single crochet into the first stitch. We're going to skip the next stitch and then work 2 single crochets into the same stitch. But unlike normal where you insert your hook and you pick up 2 strands of yarn, we're going to insert the hook underneath the right strand of the next single crochet. And so just to give you guys a clearer angle, you're going to skip 1 stitch and then work into the next stitch, but insert your hook underneath that right strand of yarn connected to the next single crochet. So when you insert your crochet hook underneath that right strand of yarn, it should go straight through to the back of your stitch, and you should have 3 strands of yarn on your hook. And then you'll crochet 2 single crochets into the same spot. And this is how you form your cluster moss stitch. So now you're just going to repeat the pattern of skip 1 stitch and then cluster moss stitch into the next stitch. So insert your crochet hook underneath the right strand of yarn of the next single crochet, and then place 2 single crochets into the same space. Repeat this until you have 1 stitch left in the row. Single crochet in the last stitch of the row. You should have 14 stitches in total. Turn your work. To begin row 3, chain 1. Single crochet into the first stitch. Repeat the pattern of skip 1 stitch and then cluster moss stitch into the next stitch of the row. So insert your crochet hook underneath the right strand of yarn of the next single crochet and then place 2 single crochets into that same space. Repeat this until you have 1 stitch left in the row. When you have 1 stitch left in the row, we're actually going to skip that last stitch, which is a single crochet, and then we're going to work a single crochet into that chain 1, which was the turning chain of the previous row. Working the last single crochet into the turning chain will give you a nice straight edge. You should have 14 stitches in total. Turn your work. And then you're just going to repeat row 3 until you reach your desired length. And after a while, you'll be able to notice that you can easily spot the right strand of all the single crochets. Once you've worked up a swatch, this is what the cluster moss stitch looks like.